What's happening, everybody? It's your boy, Sean McLaughlin, at Options Sean on Twitter X. Today is Thursday, July 17, 2025. Hope you're doing well. Hey, it's a bull market, you know? If you guys follow me on Twitter, you've seen me say that over and over and over again. And I know some of you find that annoying, while some of you love it. And I just do it because, sometimes I just need to remind myself when I'm overthinking things, it's a bull market, man. Just go for it. All right. So, that's the world we live in. Today is July 17th. Like I said, this is the All-Star Options Jam session. So what we do here is we review action amongst trades we've got going on in the All-Star Options service. We talk about trades that have exited, trades that we're making an adjustment to, which we have one of those this week. We also review, or we update a bunch of stops on existing positions. Last week we had a record episode for the amount of stops that we updated, which means we're moving stops in our direction. We had something like a dozen stops updated last week, far and away the most I've ever had to review in 1 week. We're not anywhere near that this week, but we still have a number of them to update, which is good. That means positions are going our way. And then, of course, we'll review some of the newer positions we've put on since we last spoke last week. But before I start dropping charts on you, oops, nope, that's not what you want. You need the disclaimer. So everything we discuss here is for educational purposes only. I'm showing you what I'm doing with my money, and I hope that you are learning something from following me, seeing me follow my process. All right, so let's start with the S&P 500 chart like we always do. Where we are right now, if we were to close here at where we're currently trading, this would be a new closing high for the S&P. It's a bull market, like I said. If we bring up the Qs, it's going to be a similar story, new closing high. Unless we have a major collapse here over the next hour, I expect we're going to close at new highs. And it feels to me, maybe I'm just being, maybe I'm biased, but if we're bringing the SPY chart back up, it feels to me we had a weird little shakeout on Monday and Tuesday, or sorry, Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. We gapped higher on Wednesday and did nothing but trade down most of the day. And then yesterday, we opened basically where we closed on Tuesday, traded down pretty, I don't want to say severely, but pretty significantly, but immediately bounced back. We V-bottomed yesterday intraday, and we're following through today. To me, that just feels like, man, we're about to start another leg higher. Can you believe it? I mean, this move off of April 7, which seems light years ago now, this move has just been unrelenting. And anybody who is short or trying to get short or trying to be a hero to short this market, they're just getting run over. And they continue to be fuel for us who are long this market. The majority of our trades are long. I've never had more long exposure, not just amongst all-star options positions, but many other positions I have in my other trading that I do. I've never been this long. And I have to be honest, it makes me a little uncomfortable, but it's working. It's a bull market. All right. So let's talk about what positions we've had some action in this week in no particular order. First up is Robinhood. This was a trade that we got into not that long ago. June 2nd, I believe, was the date. We bought a January bull call spread. We bought the 70 calls and sold the 100 calls. I thought I needed 6 months for this stock to get there. Well, guess what? It got there in a month. My plan, as was laid out in the blog post when we put this trade on for all of you, the plan was if and when Hood did the $100 roll that we were talking about, if it did the $100 roll and got above 100, I was going to sell the spread for whatever I can get, and we got that this week. Actually, I think we got it on Friday is when that happened. So I bought it for 625. I was out on Friday for 1705. So not quite a triple of our money. And look, the most the spread could have been worth is 30 bucks. Okay. And I sold it for 1705. So you could say, Sean, you left a bunch of money on the table, and you would not be wrong. However, for me to achieve that next $13 in profit, I would have to hold this thing probably for another 6 months. I don't want to hold it that long. I almost tripled my money in like a little over than 1 month. I'm good. I'm happy. Okay. I'm taking the risk off the table, and that was the plan. I'm sticking to it. If you're still in the trade and you're still riding it, good luck. It could work. It could totally work. You might be able to squeeze more out of it. I'm happy to take the gains and redeploy the capital elsewhere. And hey, in this market, There are a lot of places to redeploy capital. Seems like everything's working. Knock on wood. I'm walking on wood here on my wall. I don't want to jinx it, but man, so many ideas everywhere. All right, so we're out of hood, 1705. Congrats to any of you who took that trade. Excellent. All right, next up, First Majestic Silver AG. This was kind of working, kind of not working. It's given us fits and starts, but the nice thing is that we had a call calendar spread on. We were short the July 9 calls and we're long the December 9 calls. We paid 84 cents to get into this trade. Now, late last week, with this stock ripping higher, we both of our I mean, it looked like we were going to have to roll. That was the plan, right? So if we got to 950, I got the 950 laid out up here at the top. If we got above 950, I was going to roll my short July calls up to August calls, to the August 10s, maybe pay a small debit, hopefully get a small credit. But that was really more of a defensive move. But the stock immediately turned tail, got as high as, I mean, where did it get to? High of 948. So boy, it just kissed our level 950, immediately came back. I closed those short July calls for 5 cents. I mentioned it in the chat room. If you guys were there, you saw it. I closed them for 5 cents just to take that off the table for an extra 5 cents. It doesn't cost me a whole lot. And now all I have is the December 9 calls. And assuming, well, I'm not going to assume anything, but hoping that this little pullback finds its footing right here, which would be a natural place for us to find support after breaking what was previously resistance. This would be a great place for the stock to find some support. And we have until December for this thing to resume its march higher. And now we have the potential for unlimited gains because we have no cap on our gains. We're just long the $9 calls, and we have until December. All right. So that's what we did in AG. We're out of the short calls. It's now just a long December call trade. All right. Next up, Regetti. Woo boy, we sold this one yesterday. Well, no, sorry, we didn't sell it. We sold half. All right. So this is a January bull call spread that we got into back in early May. We paid 240 for it. The most of the spread could be worth is 15 bucks. That's the difference between the long tens that the tens that I'm long and the 25s that I'm short. Okay. Most of the spread could be worth is 15 bucks. Now, again, sticking to the plan that I had, my plan was if and when Regetti got to 15 bucks, if it got there, I was going to sell half of my position for whatever I can get. Now you'll notice we kissed 15 back on May 27th, but we really, we were above 15 for about 17 nanoseconds, and it was like early in the trading day. So I didn't even see it until after it was already back below 15. So I held it and didn't do anything, which is fine. We got there yesterday. We were above 15. So I sold half of my bull call spread. I sold half of it for 430. So that pretty much pays me back for all of my my capital outlay. I'm still exposed a little bit to the tune of I don't know, 20 cents. Is that right? 50 cents. I have about 50 cents exposure left. No big deal, but I still have half of my position on, and half of that position could end up being worth as much as 15. Now I have a good till cancel limit order out there to sell this spread for $12 if and when it gets there. All right. Again, the most it could be worth is 15. I'll be happy to sell it at 12 if I can get there. All right. Also, if we're getting trades up to 25, I mean, that seems like a long way from now, but the way stocks have been moving, it could happen. If it trades above 25, I'll probably also take off the spread at that point too, for the same reasons I got out of the hood trade. All right. But for now, we sold half of Regetti, still have half on. Trade's looking good, and this is looking like a fresh new breakout here. I would be surprised if this thing didn't at least go up and retest the previous cycle highs here back in January. All right, so congrats to any of you who are in that trade. We're off to a great start. And finally, Rocket Lab closed this one today. We were long in October 35.45 bull call spread. We paid 275 for it, and the plan with this one was if the stock traded to 50 bucks, I was going to take the spread off and book my gain. Well, we got there today, and boy, we got there quick. I mean, we got into this trade on June 25th, so not even a month, and we paid 275 for it. So what's that? We more than doubled our money. More than doubled our money in less than a month. Not bad. Not bad. So congrats to those of you who rode that trade with us, who took that rocket ride with us in Rocket Lab. Gotta love it, man. So we're out of that for 635. Wow, all four trades we talked about today are all winners. Gotta love it. I mean, it's a bull market, right? And we have bullish trades on, so they should be winners. All right. Next up, we have a bunch of stops to update. Again, not as big as last week's list, but certainly good stuff. Some of these names we've already talked about. Back to Regetti. We are raising our stop now to 11 bucks. Again, we're out of half of the position, which is great. But for the rest of it, I'm raising my stop to 11, which corresponds with the low end of this little base here. It also, well, it's below the rising 50 period moving average and the VWAP. So probably want to raise this again. We'll probably raise this stop again up to about 12, maybe next week. Well, we'll see how this thing trades. Maybe I should even move it there now. Look, if you want to move your stop to 12 for Rigetti, I don't hate that idea. But for me, for now, 11 bucks is the new stop in Rigetti. Next up is ASTS, Space Mobile. Here's a trade that, whoo boy, one of those rocket ship rides. We're long the August 40 calls. We paid $1.45 for them. We've already sold half of our position for $6.30. So what's that? That's four times our money on half of the position. Great. We still have the other half, and look what this stock's doing. It is ripping higher. That's going to be a new closing high today, and it might just be getting started. Who knows? But I'm going to raise my stop now to 42, which is just below this last reaction. I don't want to see ASTS get back below 42. Any closing price below that would get me out of the rest of the position. And by the way, whatever we sell these remaining calls for, that's just gravy on top. We've already locked in some nice profits. We've already locked in at least a double total of our capital, right? So whatever we sell these calls for when we get out of them, the remaining half, whatever we sell them for, that's gravy. It's pure gravy, adding to our already built-in profits. Gotta love it. All right, next up, there's some discrepancy on how we pronounce the name of this company. I've been calling it Warby Parker, and it's always funny the way it rolls off my tongue. Straza thinks it's Warby Parker. I don't know. Someone in the chat want to tell me. I'll be happy to hear you out, but we'll call it Warby Parker, okay? For now, we're long to December 30 calls. Boy, it looked like we timed a great entry. It looked like we bought a dip and it ripped, but then it just consolidated for the last 3 or so weeks. But finally, the thing is starting to move for us again. This is great news. But I'm raising my stop now to 21. I don't want to see Warby Parker get below 21. That to me, that would be a bearish development for this trade. So 21 is the new stop in Warby Parker. All right, next up, Credo. We're long a November bull call spread. We're long the 90s, short the 100s. The stock is, it's been flirting with the 100 level. It completed the $100 roll, which is what we hoped would happen when we got in. That was on my radar for sure. And it's not surprising that it's kind of coming back a little bit, as stocks tend to do after when a $100 roll happens, they tend to get to 100, but they don't stop there. They tend to overshoot by a few bucks. In this case, it got up to about 104 and change. And now it's coming back a little. Totally normal. Doesn't surprise me at all. But two things on this. I'm raising my stop to 85. I don't want to see it come back below 85, which is more or less where we entered. Okay. I don't want to see it come back below that. That's number one. And also two, if it gets to 110, that's where I'm taking profits on this trade. I mean, I'm taking profits in one of two ways. I have a good till cancel limit order out to sell this spread for $8, which is 80% of the maximum value of the spread. The most the spread could be worth is 10. I'm willing to sell it at 8. I'll happily sell it at 8. All right. However, if it gets to 110 before it hits my profit target, I'm just going to sell it at 110, whatever I can get for it. Maybe I only get $7. Maybe I get 750 if I'm lucky. Who knows? But 110, I just have that level up there for you to pay attention to, because that's where I'll be taking profits if we get there. All right. But 85 is the new stop in Credo. All right, next up, Black Sky. I've been privately to myself, I've been calling this Banksy. You know, that street artist Banksy, because of that ticker, BKSY. To me, that's Banksy, but the stock is Black Sky Technology. We got into this one. Recently on Friday. When did we get into this trade? Got into this one Friday, I think. We're already raising our stop up to 18. All right, so if you're in the Banksy, if you're in the Black Sky, our stop now is 18. We're off to a great start. Man, I love it when stocks do this. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that this stock is going to become our biggest winner, okay, of the year. It might. Probably not. I mean, the odds are is that it won't, right? I mean, my assumption whenever I put any trade on is that it's probably a loser. I mean, that's the truth of it. If you study the stats of your trades, at least the way I trade as a swing trader and a momentum trader, the vast majority of my trades are losers. As many as 70% could be losers. That's okay because my winners tend to be very large, and that makes up the difference. But the one thing I will say is that almost all of my biggest winners, QS being an exception, if you guys are been trading that thing, the majority of my biggest winners tend to start working immediately, start ripping very soon after I got in. So when I see a stock like Banksy, Black Sky do what it's doing the 5 or so days since I've been into this trade, that's very encouraging. Not a guarantee it's going to be my biggest winner of the year or even a large winner in any respect. But I love it when stocks do this soon after I get in. This is always a good, very encouraging sign. So if you're in this trade with me, awesome. Stops now at 18. Don't want to see it come back below 18. All right. Lastly, again, we're going back to a position we're in. Actually, no, we don't need to update the stop on this one because we closed it today. That's right. I closed it today. I updated the stop this morning before the market opened for my notes. And then we got hit, or we got to $50 and I closed it. So pay no attention to this one. Let's remove our Rocket Lab from this list. All right, so that's it. Let me go here. Bring you up oops. Bringing up the list here. Again, ignore the Rocket Lab. We're already out of that one, but these are the rest of the updated stops. Take a screenshot if you need to. And lastly, if you guys aren't subscribing to my free almost daily newsletter, you probably should. There's the link. In fact, I'll put it in the chat. I meant to do that earlier. I don't know what happened to that. Oops. Oops. Sorry. I don't know. I don't know if I lost you guys there. Maybe I shouldn't be pressing buttons. All right. I'm going to stop pressing buttons. All right, guys. This has been the All-Star Options Jam session. If you have any questions about anything we've talked about here today, shoot me an email. It's right there at the bottom, info@allstarcharts.com. It'll get routed to me. I'll be happy to answer you. Hope you guys have a great week, rest of your week. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I hope you're enjoying this bull market. I hope you're getting the most out of it that you possibly can. Let me just leave you with this one little thought, guys. In a bull market like this, where everything seemingly is working, it's very easy to beat yourself up for missing trades. I do it all the time. I'm better than I used to be about this, but I still beat myself up all the time. So I'm giving you permission to forgive yourself for missing some good trades. There's just so many good trades out there. We can't trade them all because we don't have the mental bandwidth to trade them all. We don't have enough capital sometimes to trade them all. You're either running out of buying power at this point, or you're running up against whatever your sensible limit is for how much risk you want to have on at any one time. So we can't trade them all. So don't beat yourself up. If you're in some good trades, congratulate yourself for that. You probably have some good trades on the books. Celebrate your winners, cut your losers. It's a bull market. Let's let it roll, baby. All right, guys. Talk to you next week. Take care.